Avatar, The Last Airbender. What can I say about it? The reputation speaks for itself, and it has always has a special place in my heart. Really. Sure, there was Legend of Zelda and then the comics afterwards, but Atlas stays on the top, to be honest. Yeah, it got a little tainted a little bit because of a movie that really shouldn't be sharing its name, but overall, Atla was beloved by all. So imagine my shock that Netflix was releasing a live action version of Aang and the Gang. I was a bit mixed on the news because, from what I can tell, live action versions of our favorite media from back in our days are always really, really bad. But as I'm as I was writing this script, it's out, lads. It's out. So come along with me as I enter uncharted territory and see if this Netflix version of Avatar: The Last Airbender is on par with the OG, or is it going to be trash with them? Is it going to be going into the trash with the movie that really shouldn't be sharing its name? Let's go. So, we're going to be talking about Episode 1, Aang. And also spoilers coming ahead. So if you have not watched this on Netflix, I recommend you go watch it now, because we're going to be talking about what has happened in the series. All right? 3, 2, 1, Lego. All right, so we're going to be talking about episode 1, Aang. So we start with a chase scene at Capital City where tons of guards are chasing someone who I presume stole something. The thief turned out to be an earthbender, and so far I will say the effects are way better than the live action movie. I'm already giving the salute. I'm already giving the thumbs up to The Last Airbender, because at least our little thief here didn't need to have 4 other people with him to just move a single rock. Yes, the slander of the live action movie is here, ladies and gentlemen, and best believe this is not the first time I will slander that movie. So the scroll contains information of the battle plans from the Fire Nation, and he was supposed to ride off into the sunset with his boy on some bird creatures. And I think they were the same. I think they are the same bird creatures that, the Earthbenders were riding on when they tried to kidnap the best uncle of all time. But we'll get to that later. Anyways, our noble Earthbender basically saw that, he wasn't meant for this world because he was in a prologue, and we all know what happens to characters in prologues. So he stands back and closes off the path so his ally can deliver the scroll to the Earth King. I don't know his name, but I'm going to call this Earthbender Cole. Cole was fighting 5-on-1, never tried to run once, but unfortunately for my goat Cole right here, it was just too much to handle. The next scene shows Cole being in front of the Fire Lord of his time period. And the whole scene was basically, congratulations, you played yourself and your kingdom. As Azulon? I think it might be Azulon, Ozai's and Iroh's dad, or maybe it's Sozin. Or, some random Fire Lord after Sozin, but just before Azulon. I'm not sure. But whoever it was has done Cole a little too well done, if you know what I mean, as I was left there shocked and looked away from Cole's corpse. Fly high, Cole. Fly high. So, after that cold opening and the intro basically confirming my suspicions that it was Sozin that took down my boy Cole, we are shown the Air Nomad Temple and met our goat, Aang. Aang already letting us know that he is him by showing us that he can fly, that he's falling with style, no Toy Story. The other air nomads are looking in awe, and I would be too, if I ever seen one of my boys flying down, flexing on all of us. So this show already shows us to another OG, Gyatso, and I really like the interactions between Gyatso and Aang. Wise and looking out for Aang like he was his own son. And I'm not gonna lie, the air nomads culture is beautiful. That it makes me sad at what we already know happened to them. So unfortunately, Gyatso had to talk with the council because word on the block is that the Fire Nation has attacked, and only the Avatar can stop them. But Gyatso was, basically Gyatso was pulling a Qui-Gon Jinn and argues back at the council, saying that Aang is still a kid and he needs to be here. But the council cuts him off and told him that being the Avatar is a responsibility not fit for a child. Not fit for a child. But they cannot change the fact that Aang is the Avatar and that Gyatso has gone soft on him. So, yeah. So Gyatso and Aang met up again, and Gyatso explains how the Avatar cycle works. How, back in the day, like, they were talking in front of the statue of Yang Chen, who was an airbender who became the Avatar, and then goes to Kurok, I believe. Yeah, Kurok from the Water Temple. The Water Tribe, and then Kyoshi, and then Roku, and then we're back to the Air Nomads. Ultimately, this was basically where Gyatso has told Aang that he is the Avatar. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. This scene makes me cry. And made my heart feel a little tightened. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, it was so much an emotional beat. Like, basically Gyatso telling Aang that he has to leave. He has to go and train the other three elements so he can stop the war. So Aang has to leave his friends and family, have to go off to learn the elements of water, earth, and fire to end the war, and he goes venting to Appa. So Aang and Appa decide to fly out. They decided to fly out. They decided to dip, which was bad timing, but also good timing because guess who decided to show up? The Firebenders. The Air Temple siege has begun, and this was the first W I'll give the Netflix show, cause I don't think we ever seen the true extent of the destruction of the Air Nomad Temple, only the aftermath. The Air Nomads were low-key fighting back, I'm not gonna lie to you. They were fighting back, they were showing off. But over time, one by one, they all fall. Sozin versus Gyatso was something I never really thought I would see, but I was cheering for Gyatso to fold Sozin like a lawn chair to protect the kids in the corner. But we all know what happened. Gyatso fought hard but failed, and Sozin joins the ranks of William Afton and Asgore from Undertale when it comes to children. Send them to the Air Temple in the sky. My goodness. So, where was Aang through all this? Well, Aang was trying to make it back home after realizing that, oh no, the storm kicked in. But Aang and Appa got caught into the storm, and Aang uses the Avatar state to freeze himself and Appa for 100 years. So, yeah, basically what happened in the original series. Now, I don't want to compare and contrast so early on. I don't want to compare the two so early on, but I really like the fact that we had Aang talking with Gyatso, like having their hug and all that, because I don't think we ever seen Gyatso and Aang hugging it out before Aang dipped out. And I mean, like, but I don't know which one did it better, because to me I felt like Aang leaving like he did in the original series was a lot more sad and impactful, because in the original series, Aang overheard the council and Gyatso's meeting. He was there listening in. He didn't want to be the Avatar. Like, he really didn't want this responsibility. He just wanted to be normal. And so he ran away from the responsibility. He ran away from the Air Nomad Temple. He took Appa and Dip. And that's heartbreaking, because we saw Gyatso. He read the note. He was basically he basically just discovered that his friend has left, Aang has left, who is a child. But I mean, like, it's so heartbreaking to see that happen because, in a way, in the OG series, Aang never got a chance to say goodbye to Gyatso. They never hugged it out. The Netflix series, however, yeah, they did have a conversation. They did hug it out. I mean, granted, Gyatso thought that, Aang would still be around more. He would still be hanging around at the festival and then he would go off, with, uh, but technically they did hug it out. They did confirm, and Gyatso did give Aang like a motivational speak to saying, never forget who you are, which is similar to Ursula, I believe. Zuko's mom saying the same thing to Zuko, never to never forget who you are. So it's like it really is. I don't know which one did better. Either Aang does get to hug Gyatso one more time before dipping and before Gyatso become a pack, or Aang already ran away and he doesn't hug Gyatso and he already got turned to a pack. It's just really tugging at my heartstrings. All I know is that our favorite boy Gyatso got sent to heaven, essentially. And yeah, already proving that the Fire Nation, yeah, already bad guys, but we know that they were just influenced. Some of them were influenced and being ruled by corrupted ones like Ozai. But anyways, let's get back to the video. I'm sorry. So after all that, we cut to Katara, who, as we know, is in her rookie waterbending phase right now. But she'll grow to be a big. She'll be back to be a big Katara, master of all water, soon enough. So now we are finally tackling the beginning of Atla. A century has passed, and we are gonna meet. We're going to meet Sokka. Okay, I know I know I'm trying to keep it to the script, try to tell you guys what happened, but I think we need to talk about my first critique about this show. Why did they make my boy Sokka so serious? Like, I mean, no disrespect to the actor, but Sokka is just not his fun self. I want my medium serious Sokka back, man. Like, it's like this Sokka inherited OG Zuko's personality, and I don't know how to feel about this. Like, he's just all serious. Like, he was all serious. Yes, I know that in a way he inherited his father's position. His father went off to go to war, so Sokka is in charge of everything. So he was forced to grow up fast. But I mean, like in the OG series, Sokka he still somewhat kept his charm. He was still funny. He was still funny at all most of the time. But this Sokka, he has not made me laugh at all. Granted, this is the first episode, and as we go along, we're trying to make more. We're trying to watch as each episode goes on. But man, like already, It's just I just don't really. I don't know. Like I don't really know how to feel about this Sokka. But anyways, so Katara and Sokka go out to get some fish, and because apparently you want something done right, you gotta do it yourself. So I guess no one's taking my boy Sokka seriously. Dang. And that's where they find Aang. And with Katara's help, Aang is set free and he is like out cold like a light. So Katara and Sokka have to bring him back to the village so that he can recoup. So interesting enough, he wakes up in the village and not like in the outskirts of the village like in the original series. Now I think I know people want to know. I think everyone's asking the question, where is Zuko? Well, remember when Kintaro freed Aang and that blue light pierced the skies? And that's what got Zuko to be on Aang's radar in the original series? Yeah, it happened again. We meet up with Zuko and everyone's favorite uncle, Uncle Iroh. Prince Zuko has been banished for 3 years by Dhiro's scumbag dad Ozai. And Zuko is ready to go where the village is at so he can get his hands on the Avatar to hopefully bring him back home. Aang wakes up from his 100-year nap, and the first thing that Aang does is looking for Appa, yelling for his name and having the bison whistle. Wait, I thought he doesn't get that till later. No. Compare later. Review now. We'll do a review. We'll compare and contrast later. Review now. So Gran told the whole story to Aang, how the four nations lived together in harmony, but everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. Everyone knows this story, but Aang apparently didn't. So Aang just found out that he was in ice for 100 years. Back with Zuko, Zuko is practicing on the ship, saying honor and whatnot. He's basically typical season 1 Zuko stuff. It's really sad because this scene here just, dang, like knowing the context of what happened later down the series and now seeing it, like, going back to it now, it's like, dang. Iroh and Zuko were basically having this talk, which basically sums up to this. Prince Zuko, your father doesn't love you. You must live with this knowledge and move on. He banished you, Prince Zuko, to do a task thought impossible for someone your age. Because let's be honest, yeah, Ozai really set up my boy Zuko for failure. Like, for everyone's sake, he thinks that, the Avatar is gone. The Avatar is not going to show up because we destroyed the Air Nation. We destroyed the Air Nomads. So, literally speaking, there is no Avatar. So he was sending Zuko on a wild goose chase, basically, like, that boy never gonna come back. Ozai, I would punch him in his face, I would. But this is season 1 Zuko, so of course he's not gonna listen to his uncle, but he'll learn sooner, later, hopefully. We're gonna skip a bit to when Zuko and Iroh pull up. We had a little Sokka for Zuko fight, and I'm not gonna lie, Sokka was dodging and putting more of a fight, but he still gets no diff by Zuko. Sad. Aang pulls up and surrenders so the Fire Nation doesn't burn the whole Water Tribe down. This Netflix Sokka, and then later on, the Netflix Sokka gets 1 point of getting respect from me, and gets ready to help out Katara to rescue Aang, basically giving away his position of being the one in charge to someone else, so that he can go off and save the Avatar. Meanwhile, Iroh's talking with Aang in the cell, which is a surprise to me because I don't think these two have talked at all in season 1. Like, I know they talk in season 2 when they're trying to save Katara and Zuko, when they were, at the end of, almost to the climax of season 2, but I don't think they ever interact with each other in season 1. I don't know, it's been a while since I watched the OG Avatar. And trust me, I will watch it all over again just to do a compare and contrast with this, but I don't think they interact with each other in season 1. So Aang is out here asking Iroh, why did the war happen? Iroh said a lot about this, of course, and some of the things I do like, but, I ain't trying to make this an hour-long video. So basically he sums up the war as, it doesn't matter how the war started, just how it will end. And of course, Iroh bows to Aang respectfully and say he'll come back with some jasmine tea. So Aang managed to escape by sneaking into Zuko's room, reading his journal, and takes his staff that Zuko snatched from him when he surrendered. Aang was about to escape, but Zuko and his troops were just fireball spamming at the air, making it hard for Aang to fly away. Before the final blow was struck, kinda, Sokka, Appa, and Katara save Aang from becoming Flat Stanley, and they fly away from harm's way. And that is part 1 of this thing. This is part 1 of this review. I know. We're just now getting at the end game of episode 1 of this series, but you gotta understand that episode 1 of this live action is literally an hour long. And apparently, episode 1 combines the first 3 episodes of Atla into one live action recap. I just kind of wanted to do a review about episode 3's portion by as its own video because there's so much to do when combining the both. I mean, the reason why I went through this long with episode 1 and 2 is because episode 1 and 2 in the original Atla was a two-parter of the same episode. And I have lots to say about, the compare and contrast both the OG and, basically I have a lot of things to say about the first episode of the Netflix series and how good it is. I can't speak for nothing, man. But not to worry. Soon part 2 will be out soon before you even know it. So, yeah, make sure you like the video so I know you guys want to see me talk more about Atla because, this is a new thing I want to do. Comment down below what you guys think about the Netflix show. Like, is it good? Is it bad? Is it okay? Because, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to give my response on part 2, so yeah, I definitely want to know what you guys think. What do you guys think about this whole Netflix idea? And subscribe because we're trying to upload daily. This is Juan Gamer 54 signing off.